the Euros. We got to take a look at the championship final for the Euros. This took place between England, between Germany, a record crowd at Wembley Stadium, 87,192 in attendance for a historic final, quite frankly, because England, winners of their first ever title in this tournament, their first finals appearance in this competition since 2009, where they were defeated by Germany 6-2. Ella Toon getting on the board in this one first, just past the hour mark, but Germany wasn't going to be denied, making things interesting. Lena Magul in 79th minute with the equalizer. They needed extra time in this one, everybody. And Chloe Kelly getting the game winner and effectively bringing it home, quite frankly, which we've been hearing all tournament. Congrats to England on the big occasion.
A huge congrats to England. I mean, this is really like the epitome of the soccer, right? Because England hosting this tournament, never having won a major championship, never having won the Euros exactly, Germany being in the final and having never lost a Euros final. There was just so much riding on this, playing at Wembley. You mentioned the record crowd, over 87,000 fans there cheering on, majority of them England. I'm going to be honest. There was a small group of Germany supporters in this one, but the fact that, and we talked about this, we previewed this game, and I had my hand on Germany coming into this one. But during the warm-ups of this game, Alexandra Popp, the leading goal scorer for Germany and tied for the Golden Boot race in this tournament, out. She was listed as unavailable for this match heading into it, which definitely changed things. And you obviously, you look at it tactically, you look at it technically, you look at the goal scoring ability, a player like Popp to score in every single match so far that Germany had played in this Euros tournament, but also emotionally and mentally. And maybe that gives your teammates a lift to say, hey, we're going to do this for you. You still have her voice on the bench. You still have her insight in the training room, and you have her vision, and you have her energy there. But now, do you play for that type of player? Do you rise to the occasion? Of course, it gives an opportunity for another player to come in. But this match was incredible, scoreless at the half, and there was so much going on. It was pretty choppy back and forth, lots of fouls, which we knew it was going to be. High emotions, high intensity for the first 45 minutes, but tied scoreless heading into the halftime, and then ending this match 1-1, and it was going into overtime. And of course, the Euros final was going to go into overtime between these two sides, but huge by Chloe Kelly to get this goal, 110 minutes. So there's still a few minutes left in the second half of the overtime after this goal was scored. And I was so impressed with how England handled the last 5 minutes of this game, because they kept possession of it. They frustrated Germany, but overall, this game had a little bit of everything, Sandra. And at the end, England winning it all and playing Sweet Caroline in Wembley Stadium, it gave me chills, honestly. And I really have no affiliation with England.
Lisa, listen, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. I'm certainly not going to do it to England, but I want to rain on ours a little bit. We previewed this game for a little bit. We chose Germany, the two of us, to lift the Euro Cup. And it didn't happen. So there has to be moments throughout this game where I'm watching, where you're watching, because I know it was for me. You know, even though we're watching this in neutral, I still was like, come on, man, I picked Germany. Let me see something, you know? There are moments throughout this game where I was kind of like, hold on a second here. Hold on. I thought maybe, quite frankly, that this perhaps wasn't the most sophisticated type of soccer that we saw throughout the Euros. It was definitely a finals for me, Sandra, who was viewing it and covering it. That took a little while to get going. It was at moments choppy, like you mentioned. But I think you saw two sides really early on in this game. Very like playing a little bit, maybe not so much timid, but you could tell the nerves were coming into play at moments. And I think we saw that in the beginning of this game. And I think we saw this towards once more rear its head a little bit in the extra time scenarios, because you had neither team at this point in the game wanting to make that type of like terrible error that would cause, your team to go behind in extra time. So in those moments, I think you look at that and you're going like, oh, that's exciting. Like those narratives are exciting and stuff like that. But there were moments where I was kind of like, this is a little choppy here. This isn't, it's tougher. The waves of momentum weren't exactly the way in which I thought we were going to see them. You saw that maybe the opening 10 minutes kind of all England, and then they very quickly allowed Germany to kind of play themselves into the game. So I think in terms of the overall like kind of bigger picture storylines coming out of this one, there's a lot of folks out there. Obviously, we're seeing all the celebrations, thrilled for England, and what this moment symbolizes specifically for England and their women's soccer program. But they went up against Germany. Yeah. This was their record ninth finals appearance. I'm not gonna exit this show acting like Germany hasn't done a lot for women's pro soccer at this level. So they made their return, and I thought in terms of the histories of these teams, the storylines were a little bit different in those areas as well. So I think once you have sort of that team that has sort of been chasing kindly had this moment, it sort of feels much bigger. And I think the scenes around it were a testament to that. So my hope for this is that in this moment, we get to see some of all of this success translate to like the domestic women's professional side for England. I know you and I are both really excited to welcome in Super League coverage on Paramount Plus and here on Attacking Third as well, very, very soon, in fact. So stay tuned. But I don't know if this was the match that people were sort of billing it to be. But I do believe that it had a ton of exciting moments in the later stages of the game.
I agree. It was in no way the perfect soccer game. I mean, not even close to it, incredibly far from it, because the momentum was back and forth, choppy at the beginning. And then after England scored, Ella Toone got on the board first around the hour mark, 62nd minute. England with Germany turned it on, and they were controlling the midfield. They had a great counter press. They were forcing England to make mistakes, and that's how the equalizer came from McGill. McGill was all over the pitch. She had so many opportunities off the crossbar.
She was knocking the whole game.
Yes, knocking, and finally she ends up getting one just before the 80th minute. And because of that, it then shifted things again, because then England had to fight again. And ultimately, Chloe Kelly, yes, gets the game winner for England. She does the Brandy Chastain. She takes off her shirt. She runs around and does the celebration. But to be honest, that game-winning goal was not pretty, but it found the back of the net.
But at that point in the game, that's what it takes, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what it takes. It was a scrum. Germany couldn't clear the ball. Goalkeeper Froms couldn't get on it and jump on the ball and stop it. And by Kelly is just doing a great job boxing out, shielding of the ball, and then she falls backward, misses it. She whiffs the first time, gets it the second time. Really not pretty. And even after it does find the back of the net, she waits. She checks with the assistant referee, and she makes sure that it is a goal. So it just kind of goes
controversial moments. Yeah,
it's a lot of controversial moments, and nothing that was that pretty. Like, to be honest, at the end of the game, it was not pretty soccer. But hey, a goal is a goal, and that's how you win a game, and that's how you win a tournament. And no one's going to remember the goal, right? They're going to remember the game, the tournament, the players, the emotions of it all. And I mean, yeah, you're right. So many of these players have done so much for the sport. And of course, the German side and all of those players. And maybe if they had Pop, it would have been a different game for Germany. But
I think that's the other angle too. I love that you use that phrasing, because I think there are some what ifs, I think, for Germany as they, move forward and perhaps look back at this game when they're ready to look back at it.
Yeah, I think you have to think about Pop not being there and how that would have changed things for this German side. But in the end, it doesn't matter because the Euros are done. It came home to England. They lift up the trophy. They get their name etched in it for the very first time, and this will hopefully kickstart another incredible season of soccer for fans, because now they've watched the Euros, right? All of those people that were at Wembley, they get to now watch the Super League and watch these players in their domestic leagues playing club soccer, and this will start the catalyst for the sport to continue to grow, because we're working on it. We're working on growing.
And honestly, coming out of this European championship for the World Cup, there are still spots on the line for European nations. This is absolutely like a, talk your talk type of tournament. Gloat all the way you want to gloat if you're the winner. That's part of the fun, I think, of this Euros competition, because outside of it, again, when we're talking bigger picture type of stuff, there's still some spots in the World Cup up for grabs and on the line